alongside Tom Wallish. And, well, let's talk about this monstrosity of a scaffolding and this setup that these riders are going to have to contend with out here today, Tom.
One of the most amazing jumps I think I've ever seen built for one of these events. These guys start outside the stadium, up in the air, downtown Oslo, into the stadium, through a gap in the roof, and then just going big on this jump. Here's a highlight from last year. Norway's own Berg Ruud. He's going to be the guy to watch out for here today because, I mean, tons of Norwegians in the field, but he's won the last 2 gold medals in X Games big air events in Norway and Aspen. And he's looking for another one here in Norway.
Well, that's the thing. He's looking to make history out here because if he can get another win here, he'll make it 3 in a row, and no one has been able to do that in the history of the X Games, be it in the ski or snowboarding fields out here. So there is a lot on the line out here this afternoon. And, well, this is just the first part of the equation because here in Elimination, you're just trying to make it into that 6 cut. We have 10 athletes in the field out here this afternoon. They are going to get 2 runs here in men's ski big air elimination. It's the better of your 2 runs that count, and the story right now, you're not trying to make that top 3. You just want to get into the top 6. That is job number 1 out here today as we take a look at our start list here outside of Berg Ruud, who comes into this thing very dominant. Who else stands out on that list to you, Tom?
I mean, you always got to watch for Henrik Harlow. So many X Games appearances, so many gold medals. Always one to watch out for. Alex Hall, the only American, so obviously I'm going to be cheering a little bit for him as an American myself. But, I mean, look at this jump. The entrance to the jump is outside of that stadium.
4 out of 10 riders on the rosters are from Norway, and those guys have all stood out very well in practice. But again, look at the insanity of this thing. You're starting outside the arena. They had to take roof panels out of this thing. You can't see the lip when you're dropping into this thing. As we welcome in our first competitor, who happens to be one of those Norwegians I was referencing. This is Christian Numedal getting the party started here.
Coming in big with the big switch, double cork, 1440. So already double corking, 1440, 4 spins, and we've heard from the judges that today they're going to be looking a lot for amplitude, so how far down the landing they go, and also for the grab. So Christian showing off for those judges with 2 grabs there, going mute grab and then switching and reaching for the Japan. So since that's such a priority for these judges, all these athletes are going to be trying to go big and just hold those grabs as long as possible.
So to take that grab point just a little bit further, it's not so much about the grab per se as it is about the how long you hold that grab and how clean that you look in the middle of that grab. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, definitely. And starting it off with an 84, I mean, if these guys all are landing tricks, this elimination round could be so competitive even before the final gets going.
So Christian sets the bar with an 84 flat. This is an X Games rookie, youngest in the field at 17 years old. This is Ulrich Semnoy.
Going for the big double cork, 1440. Oh, just falling over there. And Ulrich came from an X Games qualifier event here in Norway, so getting a chance to ski in front of the hometown crowd in Norway, going for the blunt grab there on the double cork, 1440, and just, I mean, this jump, the bottom of that landing transition is steep, downhill, straight to flat. You got to be really, really forward in your skis to be able to make it through that transition.
Well, the in-run on this thing coming out of the top of the structure into the arena, it's 11 degrees steeper than what we had last year. And the reason for that being is you have to accommodate for that so they don't hit their head on that truss, that support truss, when you're coming into the building. And when you look at it from the rider's perspective as they come down the chute, it looks like it's going to whack you in the head, but they've got a 10-foot clearance right there.
That is the last thing I would want to be worried about on my way into a double cork, is hitting my head on a steel beam. Oh, Evan McEachran.
It definitely plays tricks on you when you're standing up there and looking down as we take a look at Evan McEachran's first attempt here.
Wow, big double cork, 1620. So this is a trick that I was talking to him. He just learned here on this jump. He normally does a triple cork version, but instead, without the amplitude, without the size of this jump is a little smaller, so he learned that double cork version with that mute grab just yesterday and absolutely tweaking it, sort of TJ Schiller-esque, all the way to the back. I mean, you gotta love seeing that. That was a great jump for Evan.
Wow, look at that score with an 87.66, so that'll leap him to the top of the standings right now, so he'll overtake Christian Numedal here. This is round 1 out of 2. Remember, it's your better of your 2 runs that count. Making his 4th X Games appearance out here today, this is Oscar Wester from Stockholm, Sweden.
Oscar naturally spinning to the right and going with the double cork 1440. So one less degree of spin than we just saw Evan do, but he's doing a tail grab. He's doing an opposite tail grab, reaching back with that right hand, so a much smaller target. When you reach for a tail grab as compared to a mute grab or something below and near your binding, look at that's a tiny target, only 2 inches wide at the back of the tail, and you can tell he kind of gets the outside of the tail. So coming back to what the judges want to see, they want to see perfect execution. So getting the grab all the way on the tip of the ski instead of outside there. So some minor deductions, but good landing, a big spin, a big double cork 14 variation. So a lot to work on for that next jump.
I shortchanged him there. I said this is his 4th appearance. This is actually his 5th X Games appearance. He had 4 prior. Best place finish of 8th was in Aspen last year in ski slope style. We look back up top, that thing is 121 feet tall outside, 36.8 meters since we're on this side of the pond, but this is Alex Below-Marchand.
Coming in switch, triple cork, 1260. Oh, the first triple cork we've seen of the day so far. And ABM, this guy has absolutely been on fire. He podiumed at every big air and slope style at X Games and real ski last year. So a guy that can do it all in terms of skiing and just goes a little bit big there. Really going for the triple cork, over rotates. He's gonna have run number 2 though to put that one down.
I was gonna say, he definitely has the skills to do it. He's got 4 medals in 9 starts over his X Games career, coming off of a bronze at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics last year as well. So we'll look to see him get it done in round number 2 out of Park City, Utah. He too has 5 prior X Games appearances. He got a gold medal earlier this year at X Games Aspen. This is Alex Hall. Right now, the top score to beat, you need an 87.66. That's Evan McEachran sitting in that top spot as of right now. Remember, this is round 1 out of 2, trying to make the 6 cut, moving into the finals.
And this is a guy to watch out for with the grabs. Look at the technical difficulty. He's the only guy doing this grab that I've seen in skiing. He's doing a double cork 16 here. And look at him reaching back for the seatbelt Japan and tail grab. Oh, looks like he's just getting it there at the end. That is the most difficult grab you can do, stretching all the way across your body, reaching like you're putting on your seatbelt in a car to get that far edge of that ski. I mean, that's flexibility. I don't know if he does yoga or what, but you got to stretch for that. And with a 1620, that's one I've never seen him do in an event before. So that could be a big score if he could lock in that grab a little better.
We're knocking on the door of the 90s so far. I mean, he ends up with a 72, so that's going to leave him in 4th as of right now. However, the job now, like we've talked about, you're just trying to make that top 6. You just want to get into that final, and then the format changes a little bit when we get into the finals later on this afternoon. Coming down the chute right now out of Sheffield, UK, this is James Woods.
Going to the left, triple cork, 1440 to the bottom. Now, what's so insane about this is naturally Woodsy spins to the right. So he's spinning his unnatural direction, flipping 3 times in the air. Look at him, gets the safety grab. So not the most difficult grab. They call it the safety grab because it's safe, it's easy, it's right below the binding, but still, what you can't dock from this jump is the sheer amplitude. He is 50 feet down that landing, barely has time to hold on to that.
So going into that mindset, playing the strategy game a little bit, seeing some of these scores that we've got in the middle of the pack there, down in the mid to low 70s there, trying to just put down a safety run, if you will, this go around, and then see how it unfolds in round number 2 for Woodsy.
Definitely. I mean, he's got to jump now. I mean, if you could get into those 80s scores, you're going to have a chance to make it in. I mean, everybody, you only get 2 jumps, so you want to do something you can land, but you also got to do something challenging enough to get into that top 6. It's a difficult game.
Oystein Broughton over the lip here, taking it to the landing and puts one down. 6 X Games medals in 9 starts. He owns 2 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze.
Wow. Oystein is always a guy to watch out for. Another Norwegian who's, got so much talent. Here he's going with the left double cork 1440, and he's doing opposite safety grab. I've never seen him do this one. He's reaching with the left hand, which makes the rotation so much different, so much more unique, and that's a cool one. Such different variety. We usually see him doing tail grabs with a lot of those, and going with the op safety grab is a new addition.
So James Woods checked him with an 81.66. That'll slide him in that number 3 position as of right now. And Oystein ends up with a 77.66, so that'll put him in that number 4 spot as of right now, with 2 riders left to go here in round number 1 out of 2. This next one out of Sweden, let's find out right now about a little more about what drives his passion.
A lot of motivation comes from music. It definitely can like change my whole mode and mentality. Like if it's not the greatest day, and then I just pop in the headphones, get that music going, then everything can change in like a second.
Hey, yo, Mac, ladies and gentlemen, C5, wing down. Yeah. Zone. Let me see your shoulders work. I mean, I don't know what y'all came here to do, but
For X Games this year, I don't want people to know which song, you know, I'm listening to.
Where the love go?
Like what I'm gonna hit with, like that witty, unpredictable talent and natural game style that I got from the Wu-Tang Clan. But if y'all wanna bump some music, the same kind of music that I will this year for X Games, we put on some Lil Wayne, Glory, and we'll be on the same vibe.
I love his energy. I also love how he likes to keep it quiet. He doesn't want anybody to know what he's listening to when he rolls into one of these events. Coming off of surgery, had a knee injury he had surgery for back at the end of May. Didn't start skiing until the 17th of this month, so definitely not feeling 100%, but look at this. Gonna drop in, switch from the top of this thing.
We also got to talk about the style. He's going B-ball shorts, trying to stay cool, and coming in switch, triple, 1440. Wow. All the way to the bottom. Henrik is going massive. Always a guy to watch out for. I don't know what he's listening to today, but whatever he's listening to sent him to the moon.
Look at this.
Switch triple 14. So he does it different than other people. He's sort of spinning orbital around to the side. So not a true triple flip, more of a flat spinning, feet kind of get above his head there, and he's just spinning around his body. It is a rotation totally unique to him that no one else is doing. And I mean, you could see there was no landing room left. He absolutely went massive.
You see, we talked about that earlier with the amplitude and the grab there, and hangs on to that with an 86. So that is good enough to put him in that number 2 spot. So much for what I said about not skiing until the middle of this month. Henrik is back, and he's sitting in that number 2 spot as of right now, which means that Oscar Wester is our bubble guy as of right now with a 77.33, sitting in that 6th and final transfer spot. But hold the phone, everybody, up on top of the roller now. One of the Norwegians in the field out here. We talked about this guy trying to make history out here. He's won the last 2 contested big air events here at X Games. He's trying to make it 3 in a row out here today. This is Bernd Ruud.
Going forward, flipping with the double bio, 1440, sort of double misty. Oh, I've been seeing him do this one in practice all day, and when he gets it, it is so unique and so cool, but just comes up a bit short on the rotation, needs to get his hands in front of him, and that is a new one from him. We didn't see that at Aspen, we didn't see that in Oslo last year, so a new type of rotation, trying to switch it up for the judges, keep them guessing.
Just washed out a little bit there at the very end. Looked like he was going to hang on right there, so that's going to put him in a tough spot because he's going to have to get it done in that second and final run. So at the end of round number 1, it's McEachran, Harlow, Numedal, Woods, Broughton, and Wester looking at transfer spots for right now. However, there's still another round of runs still to go. Top 6 moving on. We'll have round 2 here from Telenor Arena in just a bit.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to Oslo, Norway, inside the Telenor Arena, X Games Norway. We are set to kick off run number 2 here, men's ski big air elimination. Some beautiful sights here from the city of Oslo, and just outside the arena, this 120-foot tall roll-in scaff structure right here is the heart of this big air structure here. Riders have to come down this roll-in, go through the hole in the roof, and hit this gap as we look to see Christian Numedal take his second and final attempt.
Oh, what? Going for the switch double cork 1620. So much spinning in this, and you can see him reaching for the tail grab. Doesn't quite get the grab and going huge and just ends up a bit back seat. Now, that trick, if he can do that, if he makes it through into the finals and can land that one with a good grab, that could be a winning jump right there. That is so much spinning, so much technical difficulty with the tail grab would be just insane.
Remember, it's the better of your 2 runs that count. So by virtue of that first run, he does have an 84, so he sits in that number 3 position as of right now. So we'll see if that one holds up here as we run through the rest of the round order. Out of Norway, this is Ulrik Samnoy, youngest in the field, 17 years young.
Going with the double cork 1440, has to open up a bit but gets the landing. So had a lot of trouble on that first run with that same jump. This jump, he gets the grab, just has to open up in the end. Now, take a look as we slow this down. He's reaching back for that tail, and like we continue to talk about, the judges want to see the grabs. They want to see you all the way out on the end. Oh, sort of whiffing, sort of reaching for it, gets it for a second. They really want to see you holding the grab. So like gripping it, holding it for as long as possible. That's definitely going to be an improvement on his first run, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him into that top 6.
He ends up with a 67.33. He was in 10th place, so that bumped him up 2 spots right there. However, that is not going to be enough to get him into the final. Evan McEachran here to take his second and final attempt. However, he is your current leader right now with an 87.66.
Already sitting on a good score, so I don't know if he's going to look to improve that. Oh, wow. And he does. Just absolutely tweaking that mute grab. So same jump we saw before, the double cork 1620, but he's working on just getting that grab even better. So really tweaking it. I'm not even sure how his skis stay on. He's grabbing that so hard and so long, and just look at his ankles. I mean, that's going to be one. He's got that jump and another one to add to it in the final, so he's going to be a tough guy to beat. Well,
when you get to the finals, it changes a little bit because you get an extra run. However, you're going to need 2 good scores total together. So the finals, it's going to be a little bit of a different strategy for sure. Tough break there for Evan, but still sitting in that top spot. As we look back up top and welcome back in Stockholm, Sweden's Oscar Wester, who's now our bubble transfer spot rider.
There he is with the double cork 1440 again, and the only thing we critiqued on his run number 1 was the length and the quality of the tail grab. So the second run, it looks like he really looks at the grab and tries as hard as he can, and you can tell he's grabbing, he's flexing the ski. Absolutely perfect. That was a major improvement on the grab aspect of that jump, and I think that's going to be a big score improvement for him.
Well, he had a 77.33 the first go around right there. You need an 84 flat or better if you're going to jump into that top 3. Remember, he was in 6th place pre-run. You're just trying to make that top 6. However, with a couple of guys still left to go in the run order here, you want to give yourself some breathing room. And oh, he jumps up with an 83 right there, so that'll move him up 2 spots. So good job by the Swede right there to move him up into 4th place. Take a look at Quebec City, Canada's ABM, Alex Belot-Marchand.
Coming in switch, he did the switch triple cork in run number 1, but fell on the landing. Can he get the landing here? He stomps it. Switch triple cork 1260 with the safety grab, and he didn't slow down at all. He didn't say, I'm gonna go slower. He just said, I'm just gonna land way down there at the bottom.
I was gonna say, looking at the speed, he looked like he was just sending it. You could see the pants just flapping in the breeze as he came down the roll-in.
As fast as he can go, lands all the way at the bottom and just muscles it out.
Well, he fell in his first run. He had a 24 flat, and that had him down in 10th place. So this is huge, especially if you're Oscar Wester, because Oscar just bumped himself up 2 spots. So if ABM jumps up here, Oscar's probably breathing a sigh of relief right now after that last run. So you need a 77.66 or better right now if you're going to crack into that top 6. And he gets an 87.33. That'll slide him into second, just behind Evan McEachran. So Oystein Broughton bumped down now. So James Woods is your bubble score as of right now. But hold the phone. Oystein still got another run coming up, and so does Mr. Woods. But right now, all eyes are going to be on Alex Hall. Alex currently sitting outside of that top 6. His first run score of a 72. He's currently sitting in 8th place.
Let's see if he can get that grab on the 1620. Oh my gosh! Double cork 1620 with the seatbelt Japan tail grab combo.
He's in pain there? Does he look shocked by that landing? It was hard to tell. He was grimacing for sure.
I think he's in shock. I mean, look at this reach. I mean, reaching all the way back with the left hand to get the tail grab, then getting the seatbelt Japan. So reaching across the body here right on this end of the second rotation. He gets both hands on the ski, has to really twist and contort his way out of there. I don't know how he tried doing that grab at home on your couch, let alone doing a 1620 on a 80-foot jump.
That just gave me lower back pain sitting here in the booth with you and watching that right there. So everyone's now nervously eyeing that leaderboard. James Woods is your bubble score as of right now. Top 6 move on. James sits in the 6th place right now with an 81.66. Alex, he was an 8-3 run with that 72, and we're into the 90s, Tom. A 91
Wow.
flat. The man from Park City, Utah has put himself at the top of the standings. So Oscar Wester is now back on that bubble spot even after bumping himself up 2 spots. But here comes James Woods.
All comes down to this one. Woodsy going triple cork again. Oh!
Too front heavy right there and gets lurched forward and loses a ski. That's tough because he just got bumped out by what we saw to Alex Hall. So he needed that one.
Needed that one to get back into that finals. And here he's just getting the safety grab, and he's got this trick. He just comes around so ready to stomp, so ready to put the landing gear down that he just goes over the handlebars there and just nosedives and like basically had no landing left to work with. I mean, he basically landed in the flat bottom. That was massive.
I mean, the pressure was on, and he knew what he needed to do. Tough break for him right there, so he's going to have to settle for 1 spot out of making it into that final there with an 81.66. We're down to our final 3 here. Of our final 3 competitors here, 2 of these guys are on the outside looking in. Oystein Broughton sits in 8th place. Oscar Wester is back to that bubble spot yet again with an 83 flat. Can Oystein jump back up here in this second and final run?
Going with the double cork 1440 again, so really cool. He's got the opposite safety grab. Now, it's opposite, so he's leading with the grab. It's leading with the left hand, but another thing to think about, the judges just saw Alex Hall do that difficult seatbelt grab. This one is relatively easy. It's just below the binding, so not way out on the tip, not on the tail. It's not reaching really far. It's a little bit more basic. The rotation is very unique and cool, but with them really focusing on amplitude and grabs, I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
At this point, you need an 83 flat or better if you're going to jump up into that top 6. He is going to end up with an 80.66, so that is not going to do it right there. So, or excuse me, 83.34. So yeah, he's going to stay at 8th right there. So now it comes down to these last 2. Henrik is in as of right now. He's sitting in that number 4 position, so he is assured a spot in the finals.
I think we're just going to see something fun here from Henrik. You know he comes out here to have a good time. Oh, and the big double flat 900. Now, he's got a new version of a flat spin 1260 where he sort of does a triple of this same sort of rotation. And he was talking to me about it earlier, and I think that could be his second trick of the final. Now that he's made it through, we might be seeing something very new and very different from him later on tonight.
Just using this as a dry run going into that final. However, he is assured a spot, as we mentioned before, because he sits in 4th, so it is impossible for him to be bumped out as we only have 1 skier left to go. And it's a bit of a shocker because he is in the bottom spot right now. We're talking about Bernd Ruud. He is the guy that we talked about that could make history out here today because he's won the last 2 contested big air events at X Games. He was here in Norway last year and then Aspen earlier this year. He's in that bottom spot. Can he jump into the top 6? It all comes down to this last run, Tom.
Needs to be something big. Going with the double bio 1440 and gets the landing.
I don't know know if it was the angle of that shot, but it looked like he was just carving hard to Ryder's left right there. That was a wild shot there when he took off from the lip.
Very close to that left wall there. He was having trouble with this one in practice, but good to see him stomp it here.
Look at how close to the edge he was right there.
Almost hits the cameraman on the takeoff. Diving forward, he's grabbing safety. So a unique rotation. He's not corking back. He's diving forward. So in that regard, it's very unique and different. But again, this is a safety grab and a 1440, where some of these guys are doing 1620s and harder grabs. So the judges are gonna kind of have to assess, is that rotation and the bio version of that great?
Now he gets an 89, so that moves him all the way up into second place. So we do get to tell that story later on this afternoon. He's still in the running, trying to make history out here, trying to make it 3 big air gold medals in a row. That's a tough break for Oscar Wester, though. He's in the bubble earlier. He jumped himself up 2 spots, and then just got eliminated right there. But man, how about that? The pressure was on for Mr. Rude there, and he gets it done in that second final run.
Big jump there. That 14 is so unique. No one else is doing those diving forward rotations. So something unique to him, and I think he used that to his advantage to stand out from all the other guys doing the double cork variation. He dives forward, gets a unique grab, a unique twist on it, and he's going to be competing against that guy, Alex Hall, with that crazy grab. These guys are going to be battling out in the finals.
Well, let's talk about it, too, with the change in the finals with the extra run, and it's not just the best run. You have to have 2 scores now, 2 good scores, but you also have to have 2 different rotations as well. How does that change the mindset of what we're going to see later on today?
I'd say, if anything, having to land 2 jumps of 3, I mean, you got to imagine that's 66% of the time, where this was just best 1 of 2, so 50% of your jumps you need to land. They need to be consistent and dialed. 2 different tricks, spinning different directions, and I mean, it's going to be coming down to whoever's the most consistent.
So to echo that point, what would you do strategy-wise? Would you come out, just swing it right out of the gate and try to throw the hardest one right away? Or would you be like, okay, let's dial this back a bit and see what happens in these next 2 rounds?
I think you got to come out swinging with something you know you can land that's going to get a good score, and then have 2 chances at the harder trick that you think you want to do. So do something you know you can land that first try, and then you'll have 2 chances to do your hardest trick. It's going to be a battle.
Well, we talked about having 4 Norwegians in the field, and half of them are moving on into the final. But the big story out here this afternoon, Alex Hall, your top qualifier, only guy to score in the 90s out here at men's ski big air elimination. But Bert Ruud, your winner of the last 2 big air events here at the X Games. He makes it into the finals on a second and final run, and is in the quest to make it 3 in a row. Can he make history? We'll find out later on today here from the Telenor Arena here at X Games Norway.